This video will give some insight as to how timber is recovered or harvested, the conversion process of saw logs, and the production of manufactured boards or lengths of timber. Before we begin, it's important to appreciate the development of timber throughout its life cycle and the time that cycle takes. Here you can see the plantation pine as an example. Planting begins as seeds or cuttings into a nursery bed and is then removed for planting as a crop at around 8 months. By 2 years old, they have developed to small trees of around 2 meters high. At age 13, the first thinning will be undertaken, in which most of the timber recovered will be used for pulpwood or treated for landscaping purposes. By 21 and 28 years, they will be thinned again, this time mostly as pulpwood, but with a percentage of saw logs. At age 30 to 35, the final harvest or clear felling will take place, in which most or all will be saw logs. To fell a tree, an angled wedge must be cut in the direction you want the tree to fall, indicated here by cut 1 and 2. The wedge is removed and then the back of the tree is cut. This is called a back cut, as indicated by 3. The small uncut section that can be seen between the wedge and the back cut is called a hinge, and as the tree falls it will hinge on this section, keeping a controlled fall and direction. Throughout history, felling methods have changed with technology, from axes to 2-man cross-cut log saws, and combinations of both. These were common methods and worked well. In the mid-1900s, machinery had been invented. Here is a picture of a swing saw in action, a very dangerous machine. With the doors of technology now open, development was swift over the next 30 years. Here we see one of the first chainsaws. And here the more modern day equivalent chainsaws. However, in the last 10 years, technology has changed. We now cut trees with muscle and style. Look at this felling machine, as it picks up whole entire trees, cuts them from their base, lifts them in the air, strips the bark and sections them into lengths, almost as if it was one job. In years past, the job the felling machine does here, in a matter of 30 seconds, would have taken men hours to achieve. Note the hidden chainsaw attachment that cuts the tree to the right length. This machine is an all-in-one, debarking, delimbing and trimming at the same time. Also note the size of the structure of the machine, as well as the tires and the actual shear size of it. Once the trees are harvested, they are loaded onto transport vehicles and on their way to the mill. There are various means of transport, but the destination is still the mill. Trucks are unloaded at the mill. See the strength of the forklift as it lifts the entire load off the truck at the same time. Once unloaded, the logs are placed on a conveyor to the debarking machine. The logs that required trimming are trimmed and sent inside the mill. Logs that did not require trimming are simply debarked and enter the mill on the other side of the machine. After debarking, the logs drop down onto a cradle and are laser measured for optimization, meaning the best cuts will be made to make the least cuts and gain the most material. They will then pass through the head saw, which is a bandsaw that slices boards from the side of the log. These boards will move on for further conversion elsewhere in the factory. The bulk of material, or the center of the log, now in a square form that is left behind, is known as the cant. The cant then enters a carousel where boards are sawn from the side of it, one at a time. It passes around the carousel where the computer will check it and optimize again for the next cut until the cant is finished. Another way of converting the cant is through a gang saw such as this one here. If the planks from the cant are not straight on the edges, they move on to an edger, as well as the initial boards that came off the side of the cant. Here the planks are computer optimized to gain the most amount of material, then move down the line to be sorted. At the sorting station, timber is sorted depending on length, size and thickness into different buckets. When each bay is full, it automatically empties and goes down the line to be packed. As they are being packed, small pieces of timber are placed in between. These are called stickers to assist in airflow while drying. After being packed, the timber is placed in a kiln to be dried. In many cases, for building and construction purposes, the timber would now be ready to use. However, if a better finish is desired for different applications, then the timber would move on for further processing. Here the timber is run through a planer, giving it a smooth finish, making it great for applications such as floorboards and cabinet making. The timber is now ready for final inspection and grading. It can now be stacked and packed and shipped to your local hardware. It has come a long way from the tree that we saw being cut down.